All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. J Bone here for Smash This Podcast. What is up, folks? I want to first apologize. Excuse me. I've been fighting this like crazy. This this chronic bronchitis has been kicking my ass. I'm better some days, and then like really down. And I've been fighting this like hell. And it's it's a day to day thing. I kind of psyched myself up this afternoon. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this, and I'm on now, so I'm happy to do this. Yeah, Blood Rain. Yeah, you were right. It's nothing to mess with. I started taking meds. Excuse me. Started taking meds last week. And Paul Nelson, what is up? It's like I said, it's a day-to-day thing. Some days are better than others. Today was okay. Now all of a sudden I'm starting to sound like crap again. So we're gonna fight through this. We're just gonna do this, okay? Um, when I'm done with this, I'll catch up with Raw and stuff like that later. Between today and tomorrow. It's an exciting time, but for now, let's talk about some Impact Wrestling from this past week. But before I get into that, I want to remind you guys that as part of the Wrestle Addict family, those guys who are all going to WrestleMania this year, they got some exciting stuff going on. Some tailgates, some party, the Rant With Ant Gala, and the Fourth Wall podcast has their own thing going on the day of WrestleMania. So please head on over to their social medias, the Fourth Wall Podcast, all part of Wrestle Addict Radio, and Rant With Ant. The Rant With Ant podcast has their own gala going on. I believe it's the day before. Don't quote me on that. You can go to their social medias for all their details, and they're raising money for charities. They're doing all sorts of positive things. I wish I could be a part of it, but hey, I'm over here in little old Wisconsin, applauding from afar, just happy to be part of the family. So I'm doing what I can to help promote their stuff. They're doing some fun stuff. It's a fun time of year. There's a lot going on. You name a brand, there's something exciting going on with it. So. And the brands inside the Wrestle Addict Radio are changing too. If you follow them closely, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, what's up? Oh, we got a Blood Rain in the chat. Eugene, Paul, Racist Fan Rocks. What is up? So, yeah. Crazy Impact Wrestling did not see this coming. There were some things that happened in this episode that really stood out and shocked me in a good way. Just reading something in the chat from you guys. Huh. Oh, you're listening to a death metal band called Jin. Oh, I've heard of them. Okay. Thought you were going to be talking about the death of Bernie Torme from earlier today. So yeah, rest in peace, Bernie Torme. If you're a hard rock, heavy metal fan of classic rock and stuff, you know who that is. Famous rock guitarist. So probably not as famous as some others you may think of, but still left his mark in the world of hard rock and heavy metal. So rest in peace, Bernie Torme. All right. Impact Wrestling from March 15th last week. Wow. Johnny's plan with Cross has finally came together. Folks, if you've followed my channel for a while now, say the last few years, you know I've talked about this. You know I've wanted this. And we are finally getting the family of Johnny Impact, Taya, and Killer Cross. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, folks. Oh, yes, folks. It's happening. And we are ecstatic for that, let me tell you. The ending of that episode, we'll just get this out of the way because I'm most excited about this. But there was a lot of very fun points in this episode, and we'll touch on all of them. These three. Now I see. Now I don't know where this leaves Moose. Does this leave Moose odd man out? And almost in a sense, I hope it does, because I think Moose can do great things by himself. I don't think he has to be tied to someone. Moose as a heel has certainly, I think, improved as a wrestler from top to bottom. In wrestling and in character wise as a heel, and so yeah, I mean, if he slowly but surely goes away from Cross, unless he stays with Cross and they both become Johnny Impact's backup, hey, fine, then so be it. But what we're focusing in on here is the fact that this heel turn I'm just reading your guys' chats real quick. Blood Rain says Cross was like a kid in a candy store. Oh, the way he was laughing at the end there? Yes. The heel turn was magnificent. It got everyone but trolls talking. It was great. It was great because it just felt like when this whole thing at the end started, when Cross brought down Johnny Impact, he said earlier tonight, he's like, no one's getting the. I mean, he wasn't lying. Go back and listen to his promo that he cut with Moose. He said no one's getting a championship shot tonight. And I rewatched this right before I went live now. I was like, oh my God. He put it, it was right there. Like a fart in the room. You could smell it. It was right there. Funky one too. Whew. Taya, Cross, and Johnny all sold it well. Yes. Women's wrestling, LOL. Can't wait till you talk about that. We're getting to it. That match was great. But yeah, how they played this out. I mean, this has been building. Let's not kid ourselves. This has been building for the last couple of weeks. This whole thing with the neck brace and Johnny neck brace. They've been building this beautifully. Go back and look at some of these things that Johnny Impact. I almost called him Johnny Wrestling. Go back and look at a few of the things that Johnny Impact has been doing with this whole neck brace thing, the injury thing. This buildup has been great. This slow burn of a heel turn. Ooh, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. It's been a lot of fun. And now it's like things are really happening now. Because, I mean, you got to admit, the timing for this couldn't be better, because when you keep putting Not that it always has to be a heel and baby face facing each other. It doesn't always have to be good and evil, yin and yang. Doesn't always have to be like that. The crowd went ballistic when Johnny nipped up. Oh, that was beautiful, wasn't it? Cage gets the low blow, and as soon as he drops to his knees, Johnny was up, rips off the neck brace, and Cross is just in the background, just coughing up his spleen. He was laughing so hard, and so was Taya for that matter. She was laughing like crazy. Um, Paul is loving the writing team. Yes. Yeah, they're doing all right. This is the first time I saw Cross laughed and someone didn't get dropped on their head. No, but their head got smashed. So, are you looking forward to that pay-per-view? If you're talking about Rebellion, yes. Yes. Yeah, it's going to be well, um they're going to do, well, it's the in-house one, of course. It's the Against All Odds is in what, a couple weeks? And then they've got this United We Stand show that they're promoting, which is also going to be tremendous. And then just less than a month after that, they're going to do Rebellion. So, Against All Odds is going to be kind of a stepping stone leading to Rebellion. Rebellion, I think, is going to end up being big. Like, I think it's really going to. I think something's. They're really going to build to something. It's going to turn. It's definitely going to. Definitely going to turn some heads. But yeah, that heel turn at the end there, that was tremendous. A lot of fun. Loved it, and yeah, I mean, if you pay attention to Killer Cross on social media, he doesn't come right out and say this is what's going to happen, but he always says, he lets you know when something's happening, something's close to being like, oh, you should watch. He'll let you know. Demon Rocks is in the chat. What is up? Loves it when people talk violence with him. Yes, he does. I think it puts a big smile on his face. So yeah, great ending to this last episode. And that's it. Good night. No, I'm kidding. No, no. Let's talk about the rest of this episode. Some fun stuff. This that opening 3-on-3 was that was just, I wouldn't call that match of the night, but that was a lot of fun. I'd say honestly, match of the night was the women's match. That really got exciting, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Trust me. Oh yeah, yeah. Rebellion is like, yeah, it's a few weeks after United We Stand. Yeah, it's not too far off, but yeah. So yeah, we have Sammy Callahan and OVE, the Chris brothers, versus Rich Swann, Willie Mack, and Tommy Dreamer. This, and I think Tommy said something about this match on social media, something to the effect of, this is one of the most fun times he's ever had in the ring. what's the one on the fourth war? Doug said that's United We Stand. That's the one happening during WrestleMania weekend. It's on Fight TV. That's the one that costs $20. And then Rebellion is later in April, towards, I believe it's towards the end of April. I gotta check the date. It's April 20 something. I thought it was 28th. I'm not sure. But anyways, but yeah, this, there was a lot of spots going on in this match, but this was so much fun. And Tommy Dreamer, I mean, he was really a focal point in this match. Watching Tommy, he was very, dare I say, like uber charismatic in this. He was having so much fun when he was like trying to nip up, and then the other guys had to pull him up, stuff like that. The exchanging of unpleasantries. I mean, I don't think I've seen that much spit and goobering around in like forever. Blood Rain says Tommy had the best dive of the night. That was absolutely the spot of the evening. His dive, and I'm using the quotes for my audio listeners of this show. Dive. Oh man. Jean is in. Is it Jean or is it Jean? Woohoo, it's been a while since I caught you live. I am here, dude. I am live. So yeah, a lot of fun spots. Dreamer had so much fun. And, I think Sami Callihan prides himself in doing something like nasty. It's French. Okay, that's what I thought. Sean says it's both. It doesn't matter. Okay. I just, some people are, so you mispronounced my name. Some people are like that. Good to know that you're not. Okay. Callahan prides himself in doing nasty stuff. It's all for a reaction of the crowd. His spitting, his hack a loogie up into the air, catch it, do whatever with his hand, and then chop you. It's all the things that Sami Callihan does to get a response out of the crowd. Well, he was face to face with Dreamer, and they're about the Dreamer's about to deck him or whatever. Sami just lays a big old loogie right on Tommy's face, and Tommy's like, oh yeah, peels it off his face. If you have a weak stomach, you're gonna want to like plug your ears for a minute. But if you watched it, you know how funny this was. Disgusting yet funny. Peels the loogie off of his face. And I'm glad they didn't do a zoom up of this, because that would have caused a massive, gag response across the fan base. They did the zoom out with the camera, and then they showed him, put it in his mouth. It's like, Tommy, really? You didn't have. We know you're hardcore. We know you're hardcore, Tommy. You did not have to go there. But this is Tommy Dreamer. He's hardcore. So eats the loogie. And then, and Sammy's, you got to see Sammy's face immediately afterwards. He looks, turns, looks at the, hard camera, like, like, I can't believe you did that. You just topped me. And Dreamer's like, of course, I'm hard, but I'm hardcore, So, oh man, Dreamer actually ends up taking the fall on this one. I believe it was the pile driver at the end that did him in. So Sammy didn't see, and I was assuming that because this whole thing has been building up with Sammy and Swan, and the, the OVV, the overflow for other people being involved in this. Okay, there's Willie Mack, Tommy Dreamer, OVE, those guys. I assumed somehow, some way that Callahan in this match, usually how it is he pinned the X Division champion, then he gets his chance. No, he pinned Dreamer, but he still gets the win over the team. So I don't know if that kind of around way sort of means that was his, that's how he got the chance at the X Division Championship, but whatever. I'm not going to overthink this. That's happening this coming week. Or I should say this week now, because it's Monday. Jackson Parker, are you watching Raw? I just now put it on. I don't watch Raw or SmackDown. I'm going to watch Raw later. I'll catch up with it. So it's the road to WrestleMania. There's some fun stuff going on. Paul Nelson, was Conan part of the writing team? He's officially part of the writing team in Impact now, but I don't think he was back in WCW. He was just more of a performer, if that's what you're asking. Critical Sting, what is up? Jackson Parker, yes, I do remember you. Yes, I do. OVE 6-man matches are guaranteed show stealers. Oh, yeah. A lot of fun. Those guys are so underrated, it's not even funny. The Chris brothers, I can't wait till, you see stuff play out over the course of the year, and you see something happen at some point, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see that again. That was great, and I know it's going to be a while before we see that again. We saw OVE when they first came into the company, when there weren't a lot of tag teams, go against LAX, and that back and forth over the course of a couple months, and they had some crazy tag team matches, and kind of, I don't want to say hot potatoing the tag team championship back and forth, but that war lasted a while. OVE were champs at one time, and that was, I want to say that was late 2017. So I think it's time for them to get another run with the belts. That'd be perfect. Oh, War Dog, you're talking about the impressions of the AEW guys last week. Yes, that was funny. Very funny. Demon Rocks. Do you like Stone Rockwell? Stone Rockwell's great. Very athletic, very charismatic. A lot of fun to watch. Confirmed matches for the Windsor tapings. Oh, I heard about some of them. They look like a lot of fun. Yeah. Did someone say adventure? Yes. Yes. Think Rich Swann will join OVE. No, that's not happening. I was actually kind of hoping for that, honestly. But as we saw last week, that's not going to happen. I'll tell you what, though. That was a great bit of storytelling by everyone involved. Between the in-ring segments, Swan in the hospital, now we are finally getting the X Division Championship next week, or this next. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in Impact Wrestling. A lot of things that good storytelling, great matches. It's a great time. I think it's almost like pardon the old TNA pun, the classic TNA pun. It almost feels like a turning point, just because there's so much going on in wrestling. These guys are leaving this company. These guys are joining this company. There's new people coming into Impact Wrestling. It's almost like another chapter starting this year, slowly over the course of this year. you know. Um, but yeah, great first match. A lot of goofy, funny, disgusting stuff. As as the guy said, his as we hold back vomit at ringside. Excuse me. Um, too damn funny. Moose getting revenge on the Rascals. That backstage segment. Moose invades the little Rascals. I don't know. What do you call that? Rascals Clubhouse? You could always call it the Clubhouse. You know? A la that 70s show. Those segments are great. How they all play off each other and the camera stuff that goes on there. A lot of fun. And it's just another example of how Moose is evolving into a great heel. You know, he could be sarcastically funny. He was great in this segment. You know, it's like where you're laughing, it's funny, but you know he's gonna like somehow, some way get revenge on these guys and clobber them at some point. So I guess that's gonna happen this coming week. I think I saw there's a match with Moose versus I want to say Trey Miguel, I believe. So we'll see if the other guys back him up at ringside. I really think they should be there. You know, just in all fairness. I mean, you can't leave him out there by himself for that one. That would just not be right. You know, that's, you know, like throwing someone into the lion's den. He just, no. Can't do it. So, all right. Next, we get Glenn Gilberti showing off his skills in the ring and tells him to send out some clown or whatever he said. And out comes a clown of sorts, Mr. Kiku Taro, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways, but each way is very similar. So yeah, it was fun. I think we've seen him in Impact before. I'm not positive. Might have been at like a house show setting. I forget. Because there's a few of those kind of shows that I've missed before. Blood Rain says the Thanksgiving show. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I don't remember what he did, but I think you're right. Good thinking. See, love you guys. Guys always got your thinking caps on. I, on the other hand, not always got my thinking cap on. But I always got my drinking cap on. Oh, goodness. So yeah, Glenn actually has a fun little match with Kikutaro. And I think one of the funniest parts of this was Glenn hopping on commentary a second before the match starts, grabs a headset, looks at the guys and says, "Hey, isn't this the New Japan champ or something? Or New Japan heavyweight champ?" And I was like, oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious right there. It just shows the comedic ignorance of the character of, you know, Glenn Gilberti, Disco Inferno. It's crazy. And, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't always keep up on New Japan stuff. You know, I like to keep up at least, you know, who's champ, certain storylines, certain rivalries that happen catch my eye, and ooh, hey, I want to catch that, you know, or I'll watch this big show coming up, or something, you know. I watch some of it, or there's a new face coming. Ooh, okay, who's this? You know, but I can tell you this, even though I may not watch it all the time, I can tell you that Kiki Taro is definitely not New Japan Pro Wrestling heavyweight champ. I may not know a lot, but I do know this. Okay. So, uh, fun little match. Glenn gets the win with the, what is it? What do my notes say? Chart Buster Stunner. And I can't wait to see what else he's going to do. He's got one more time to show off his skills before the match with his match with Scarlett Bordeaux. Yes, I know Jay White is the champ, but thank you, Blood Rain. See, I am rusty, but I did know that. He beat Takahashi, one of those guys. It's the guy that beat Kenny Omega. So so wonderful win for Glenn. We get another match between Reno Scum and Cam and Falaba. This one a little more on the serious side, especially coming from guys like Cam and Falaba, who usually throw quite a bit of a comedic flavor to their their matches, which is good. It's you mix it up. You get a little bit of hardcore, you get a little bit of high flying, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of this and that. Keeps the show interesting. Keeps us guessing. Okay, what's coming next? But Reno Scum, I feel a little bad for them. They're 0-2. They didn't come in guns blazing like, hey, we're taking over the tag division. No, kind of a rough start for them. Don't know if they're going to be sticking around or if any contracts are going to be signed. We'll have to wait and see. Still good to see them. Critical for these tapings. They had a few days in a row. Was it 3 days in a row? I believe they had doing tapings in Vegas, and you need a little local flavor when you're going to stick around a few dates. And what better way to do it than bring in some Reno Scum? It's been a while since we've seen them, and whatever their future may be, it was still good to see them back for even if it was a couple losses. And hey, maybe that was just kind of a, we want to see if you guys not necessarily still got it, but, do we want to keep bringing you back? It's, and they look to see what the reaction is on social media and responses to, they look at all the little things, I'm sure, across, YouTube videos, social media, Facebook, Twitter, responses, chats, whatever, We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, we get another win from Cam and Falaba. Heard Falaba re-signed recently. Great news there. Still kind of up in the air about KM. Or as in, we don't know if he's going to be sticking around or not. Don't know what kind of offers he's getting, but we don't know if he's sticking around or not. I kind of hope he does, because I actually have really come to enjoy watching the tag team of these two, roll around in the ring. Sometimes literally, rolling over their competition. We'll see. This whole thing between the Lucha Brothers and LAX is getting out of control. Conan is trying to facilitate some kind of big rematch for LAX so they have a chance to get their tag team championship shot back, but it just ain't happening. Pentagon and Phoenix are just showing no love towards Conan. And Conan's, you see, there's a nasty. Usually, Conan is the one to keep a cooler head. If you've seen past feuds, he he's the one that always keeps LAX from blowing their tops, saying, "Hey, patience. We're gonna get this shot. We're gonna get this chance to do this against this team or that team or whatever." You know, defending the championships or getting the championships back or getting a shot at them, whatever it may be. But the Lucha Brothers are like, no, we're not having it. So it's almost kind of, it's like, oh, Lucha Brothers are kind of turning heel. But then, you got other people saying, well, no, I think LAX is turning heel. But for a while now, they've both been like right in that gray area. So I think something else big is going to happen soon, or someone's going to snap and there's going to be some kind of twist and turn to this story coming up. But LAX is depending on Conan for this rematch, and he's like, I'm gonna get it done, you watch. Santana is just like, would you just make it happen already? Come on. Kind of funny. A few of those segments there. Then, oh goodness, this next match, this number one contendership for the Knockouts Championship. Who's going to face Taya at, I believe it's against all odds. So that's coming up, I believe, in 2 weeks. This match, in my professional opinion, match of the show. This one really stood out. I mean, when Tessa's on your TV, you're going to get a damn good match. Could be even a squash match, but you're going to get a damn good match. Jordan, on the other hand, has not. Now, I know she's faced Tessa before in, alternate universes, you could say. She's had her hands full lately with this whole Dark War thing, where she's been kind of dragged in by Kiera Hogan, and yet taking a little more of a back seat, knowing her boundaries, and told, Kiera Hogan, like, hey, we've done what we've come here to do. Let's take a step back now and let Rosemary do what she needs to do with, Dark Alley. So Jordan getting a shot at this, because I'm pretty sure she's undefeated, which is damn impressive with a stacked knockouts roster. So in this, like they said, I think this could seriously be considered an upset, just knowing Tessa's track record in this company over the course of this last year. I mean, she's damn near undefeated, She's lost the championship, but her track record is, consistent wins has been impressive, to say the least. So yeah, I knew this was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. And the amount of emotion that both girls showed, I mean, Tessa's really, she's really starting to lose it, isn't she? She's you know, becoming, I mean, this has been ongoing for a while, but especially in matches like this, when Tessa had this match won. You go back and watch it. You look at these certain points of the match, she had Jordan Grace beat down. And then she goes off and, messing with the ref, yapping at the crowd. I hope Gail's watching. Oh, why are you worried about Gail? Beat Jordan. How many times did she get in the face of almost said Poindexter? That's not the name of the ref. Who was the name of the ref for them? Johnny same name as that cartoon character. Johnny Bravo. Thank you. See? Love you guys. Thank you, Critical Sting. And Blood Rain. Eugene says she's slipping into the darkness. She might be. She might be. Tessa might show up with makeup next week. Who knows? No. Critical Sting says Tessa to Shady Acres. Tell him Eddie Edwards sent you. I think he's got a backdoor key to the place. Or was that Raven? Or was it both now? Tessa needs some Impact Wrestling needs to invest in some, good medication for some of their some of their roster. Maybe some good Valium, like, hey, just take a deep breath, go out there and, let's not have an aneurysm. Blood Rain says that Raven has the key. Oh, okay. Thank you. Critical Sting says Tessa's going to come back with a Raven and challenge everybody to a Clockwork Orange match. Oh, Tessa shows up with a black straitjacket. Priceless. But yeah, tremendous match between these two. Both really gave it all. And like I said, Tessa had this one. And Jordan caught her off guard when she was too busy doing everything else. But yeah, it's so great to see Jordan win. She really has been a great addition to this roster, and can't wait to see her match with Taya. That's going to be her biggest challenge. Beating Tessa is no easy feat. So we'll see how that goes in a couple weeks against Taya at Against All Odds. So Jordan celebrating, leaves. Tessa then completely unravels, grabs the bell ringer, who's like, half my size. What do they say? 100 pounds soaking wet, smaller than Tessa, for crying out loud. Completely destroys him. And Gail Kim is like, that's it. We've had enough of you doing this. Goes out there and she completely clobbers Tessa. Which, as exciting as that is to see Gail Kim come back and do that, looking at that following segment with Scott D'Amore, he's right. As much as we as fans don't want to admit it, Scott's right. She's office. She can't put her hands on Tessa. Now, obviously, we know that this is going to lead to Gail Kim versus Tessa, which has been really slowly brewing over a few month period here, which has been tremendous. You know, we see little things here and there. These little things trickle through other matches. Things get said, things get done. Well, we're gonna find. It looks like we're finally gonna get it. It's not official yet, but it looks like we are getting closer and closer to it. Tessa was gonna kill her cross the bell ringer. that's a great way to put it. Oh. Eugene says that if Jordan beats Taya, I will lose it. Oh, I'll lose it too. I think this is definitely going to be another phase for the Johnny Impact trio, if you will, of Johnny Impact, Taya, and Killer Cross. And if they stay this unpredictable, I think it's going to be very difficult to take championships away from them. We'll just say that. Does Gail Kim age? No, I don't think she does. She is married to that famous chef. Can't think of his name, but that's not important at the moment. But whatever he feeds her is probably something damn near close to the fountain of youth. You know, probably all crazy. You know, just generally good stuff. Robert Irving, look at you guys. Look at the big brain on Blood Rain. I mean that in a nice way. I'm only sad that we can't call him Johnny Neck Brace anymore. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm sure the crowd will have their opportunity to do a Johnny Neck Brace chant somewhere in the future. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. That will come in. That's too good of a thing to like just let it go now. You know? Eugene says Johnny Heel Town. Yeah, I like that one too. I like that. Put that on a t-shirt, eh? Slam Town, Heel Town, Neck Brace Town. No. So yeah, Gail Kim gets suspended by Scott D'Amore, reminds her that she's Office and she needs to behave like Office, not like an in-ring performer. Which, like I said, he's right. As much as we don't want to hear that, he's right. So he suspends Gail Kim, and she'll be back in the soon to near future. I think they'll face off at I think they'll face off at Against All Odds. Honestly. Johnny Doomsday. Yeah, with Killer Cross at his side. Yes, that's a great name too. Blood Rain says there was this dude on YouTube the other day said Johnny turning heel with Cross made no sense. I told him go do some research into their AAA run. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it stems. They have been together on and off in wrestling over the last 2 to 3 years. Killer Cross is undefeated in AAA. Has not been beat once. Let that sink in. You tell me who should be champ down there. But yeah, these two, when these two are together, 2/3, including Taya. When these three are together, you you've got a pretty unbeatable crew there. AAA refuses to give the man a title shot. Destroy everyone, which is what he's already doing. Eventually, once all bodies are down, boom, default champ. Jeff Jarrett was champ before Cross and AAA. What the? Yeah. Storytelling. There's a process to everything. I'm sure it'll happen someday. Who knows? Cross may get so big and powerful in AAA, he'll get his own crew. Who knows? TikTok. So yeah, we then see a segment fallout to what you could call, excuse me, the Dark War. Rosemary grilling Dark Alley, saying, "We want the bunny back. Give her back." And they're going back and forth, and I don't know. Rosemary seems like she's kind of, I don't want to say unraveling, but she's not used to having this kind of mental mind game going on with someone else. She's used to winning. She's not used to, this is new for her. It's definitely new. So we'll see where this goes. Obviously trying to get Allie back from the dark side, if you will. Desi Hit Squad versus Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake showing some real talent together, even when it did come to getting Kenny involved at the end there. But it also shows, if you pay attention to the Desi Hit Squad, yeah, they lose here and there, but still good in ring action. It's going to be interesting to see how long they stay together. I do like the combo though. But I'm also very curious to see what they do with Eli Drake. There's been some things been talked about here and there about his future in Impact Wrestling. If you pay attention to Eli Drake's social media, he puts a few interesting hashtags in his stuff in reference to Impact Wrestling. Last stand, hashtag last dance, hashtag last something, or last run. He's putting something like that in his social media posts in regard to Impact Wrestling. So maybe this is it Last Dance? Okay. Thank you, Critical Sting. Maybe this last stuff, or this chapter that I should say, that he's doing with Eddie Edwards in trying to form a tag team, is going to be his last run. We don't know. I don't want to assume anything. The climate in professional wrestling right now is so, like, every few days you're reading about someone new getting snatched up or let go from someplace. Contracts getting signed, contract negotiations failing. There's always something going on. Heck, I just read a thing today about The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. They're getting pulled off live events while they're in negotiations with the WWE. While, flip the page and look, AJ Styles just re signed with the WWE. It's a crazy time in wrestling. It really is. You never know who's going to drop out, re sign, get their walking papers, whatever. Just contract wise, you could say this year has been one of the more interesting years within the last, I'd say, almost decade. You know, big news is happening everywhere with a lot of different companies. And I don't want to assume anything right now. I think that's unfair. You know, I'm enjoying this storyline. I like the chemistry between Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards. So I want to try to focus more on that, but I know people are talking about it, so I at least wanted to touch on it. Next week, we're getting the X Division match championship, or X Division championship match, excuse me, between Rich Swann and Callahan is announced right before the end segment here, which we already discussed. I'll touch on it again, though. I'm a little surprised this isn't happening at Against All Odds. Unless there's one more stepping stone that's going to happen between this week and next week. I don't want to assume what it is. We may get the match. I could be wrong. But like I said, I think it's like a week too early that we're getting this. I don't know. We'll see. Critical Sting says, if Eli leaves, watch certain journalists and reporters act like Impact can't re-sign any talent. Oh, of course. There's always pages like that just, whatever chance they get, they try to, you know, oh, it's a hopeless cause and whatever. What if Allie comes out of the darkness as Cherry Bomb? Interesting. See, I know on the indies she is known as Cherry Bomb, but I've never seen that side. The only stuff I've really ever seen of her is through Impact Wrestling. So if that's really a different side from what her Bunny Alley side is, then hey, you know, we'll see. Just catching up on the chat here. Oh, it's to the point that you don't want to follow wrestling. No, I think this is the best time in the world to follow wrestling. At least you could say it's not boring. You know, there's a lot going on. No matter where you look, there's always something happening. There are talents who won't do the WWE like Jimmy Havoc. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, interesting stuff going on there. Can't wait for this X Division match. No matter what happens, this story has been absolutely tremendous between Rich Swann and Callahan and all surrounding parties. You know, like we saw today. Great stuff. Heard a rumor that Rise Paradise Lost is going to turn on Rosemary and then join forces with Su Yung, and Demon Buddy is going to take GOR championships from them. Oh, Paradise Lost is the tag team that's under Rosemary. That's I can't think of their names. I can picture them. There's a tall girl and a shorter girl. One of them is from the area. In fact, I met her a few years ago. Um, Interesting. Yeah, I haven't watched Rise in a while, but I heard it's been good. So then we get the main event, and we touched on that at the beginning of the show. But for those who came in late, I'll talk a little bit about it just to wrap it up. Um, Johnny Impact offering Brian Cage the shot at the championship because like and just you could just tell throughout the whole show. You could just smell something's weird, with this whole neck brace thing. Like, what really? You can't wrestle in a neck brace. Johnny neck brace. Um Maybe that's why they kept Eli Drake on a lower tier. Yeah, I mean I know people have been upset with what's been going on with Eli Drake in Impact Wrestling, but I try to be a patient wrestling fan and just keep telling people, look, not all of our favorites can be champ at once. It's impossible, and you're not going to please everyone. You know, I think what's been going on with Eli Drake is just still showing he is still a shining talent in Impact Wrestling. No matter what you give him, he's going to knock it out of the park. This stuff with, this storytelling that he's doing with Eddie Edwards is great stuff. I mean, look at how much change and storytelling Eddie Edwards has just done with his own character. From the accidental injury that went absolutely viral and is still talked about to this day, just almost a little over a year later now, with the baseball shot heard around the world from Callahan, and how that had played out over months between him and Callahan. It's crazy. And brought so much attention, good or bad, to Impact Wrestling. In the long run, I think it's good. Look who ended up Wrestler of the Year. Callahan. So you look at stuff like that. Now you put a guy like Eli Drake in this, who is still one of the best talents in the company, and just keeps showing us no matter what storyline or match you put him in, he's going to knock it out of the park. Give him 10 minutes in the ring and give him the mic for 5. He'll prove He'll prove to you why he is one of the best, So, but yeah, do I want to see him stay? Absolutely. I don't think we should assume anything right now. We'll see what happens. Just gotta wait and see. But yeah, that ending segment with Cage being dragged down to the ring, and I rewatching that again as it played out, because when it first started happening, you had the feeling like, oh, as it happened, it was like, okay, Cage is going to help Johnny again. Cage gets screwed out of it. His chance at the championship, but Cage is going to put on a smiling face and deal with it because he's a good guy, Cage. And he's got history with them, especially Taya. So watching this all play out was just, it was great. And I couldn't be more excited for um reading Blood Rain's last comment there. Don sold it well. He went ape shit. He did. He did. If you go back and you listen to that again, it's all Don, Josh, dead quiet. Like he couldn't believe what he just saw. They actually did that really well, you know. And that's the thing. You got to play stuff out in the ring, and you also got to have your announce team sell it. Very important. And I think they did that good. Cross has a tendency to have cinder blocks involved in brutal attacks. Not all the time. Once in a while. It is a very handy tool of his, if you will. And this one was real. I was expecting this one to get smashed, you know, using those quotes again, smashed on Cage's head. No, this one, this one was, this was a legit cinder block, not the kind that goes poof, which we've seen Cross use before, but that's okay. It's an added effect. It's, you know, it's one of those things. Don't overthink it. It just looks awesome when it explodes on someone's head. We saw that a couple years ago in the WWE in the feud between what the hell was that? Oh, Rollins and Ambrose a couple of years ago, and I believe Kane held the cinder block or something like that. Something like that. It's beautiful. So yeah, great show. A lot of fun spots, especially the official heel turn and what made me the most happy is the Cross, Taya, Johnny Impact family coming back together again, which I had been wanting since day one of everyone's inception in this company, especially when Cross walked through the door. I was like, oh, just wait. Just wait. When it happens, see, and that's smart. You know, oh, well, they did that someplace else. Okay, yeah, but that's not on a worldwide TV basis. Most of that is, you know, AAA is viewed by people south of the border. Yeah, there are some Americans that know about it. You know, let's say that the Cross nerds like me that have seen this before. But now a whole new audience is getting to see this. So I can't wait to see what they pull off next. Johnny may keep the championship for another year. Who knows? But like I said, let's not assume anything right now. But let's just hold on, because this is going to be fun. And like I said, let's not assume what's going to happen with Moose in this either. He may stick with Cross and be another muscle guy for Johnny to help hang on to the Impact Championship. We'll see. But great show. And Melanie Cruz, yeah, that's the name of the girl from around here. Met her a few years ago at a Global Force Wrestling show of all things. I'll let Jeff Jarrett come into town with his old company. So yeah, great show. Thank you all for tuning in. And sorry it's late, but hey, like I said, it's day to day with this stuff that I've been fighting. I kind of psyched myself out of it today and got on here, and I'm like, we're doing this. We got a lot to talk about, and this was a great show. So I really was dying to get on here. So, and the audio version of this will be up soon on Wrestle Addict Radio. So, and those numbers are growing well. All the family's numbers are growing well as far as that. You can catch it on Anchor FM, iTunes, amongst it's popping up other places too. And the more I see the other places, the more I'll talk about it, like Google and Spotify. It's a work in progress, but you can catch it on Anchor FM and iTunes, if you're an iTunes person. So just want to thank you all again. Don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring-a-ding-a-ding, that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. All right. Peace.